Good morning, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of Bracket Up. We're changing things up for the last week of the year. We decided to do our own little spin on end of year kind of lists. And this very first bracket is going to be the first in a 5-part series. It's going to be the best game of the year that came out in 2020. We all picked individual games, threw them into a bracket. We're going to find out which one's the best. No duplicates today. Also, as you can see, we've got everybody today. This is awesome. This is the first time in a long time that we've got everybody on the show, all of our regulars. It's first time handy dandy Andy Jarek. And since I don't have everybody's face in the line, the order might be a bit different than usual. So first off, I'll go to my my right and look at the Dom Cat with the Baby Grinch background, Dom Catalano.
Going y'all, Baby Grinch for life, Baby Grinch for life,
BG4L, baby.
Yeah.
I love it. Underneath Dom is Julian, where the money reside. Griffin, how are you?
I'm good. You guys need to watch that video. It's had me cracking up all day.
I have no idea what that is.
I don't either.
Look up the video on YouTube, where the money reside.
We'll have to do that. Next to Julian is Bill the Money Johnson. How are you, Bill?
I'm doing really good. How are you guys? It's been a while.
It's great to have you on.
Yeah.
I love you, Bill. We all love you so much.
Yeah, we do.
What's the cat's name that you had?
Yes.
That was Shepard.
Okay.
That's cool. Above Bill is Dave Cash Money Holloway. How are you, Dave?
Cash Money. Okay. I'm doing good. I'm excited to mention what game I have here because I don't think anyone on here has even heard of it before. So
probably going to be right about that one. Next to Dave is Tom, the Big Bank Kairos. How are you, Tom?
Hey, yeah, I know. Yeah, just chilling. Got a new change of scenery today. Changing it up, filming from a different spot of the house, and good to be back after missing a couple of weeks.
Looks like a comfy couch.
It does.
It is. It's my office, more or less.
Okay, works for me. And then finally, above Tom is Andy, the biggest mistake, Mysek. How are you?
Yeah,
No
that's
money
what
for you,
Roy
buddy.
changed my name to. Funny enough, that's what my mom calls me too.
Dear God.
oh no.
Wow.
Okay,
Also-
wonderful.
Also, you might be wondering why the bracket isn't up yet. All of these were sent to me secretly, so no one knows whose games are on the bracket. No one knows who picked what, so it's going to be a surprise for everyone in a second.
Probably gonna start screaming.
Oh, you're going to scream. You're going to scream, Bill.
I always do. At night. Like when I'm asleep. Just the nightmares. It's awful.
All right,
Yeah, let's go.
we got all the boring stuff out of the way. Let's take a look at this best game of the year bracket, Andy. The biggest mistake has started screen sharing.
Oh my gosh. It's also 8, a divisible number.
Yeah, all
Thank
of
you,
them
Dom. Thank you, Dom.
You're welcome.
Oh, you put our names on it.
Yeah, so you know who picked what.
I thought it was a surprise the whole way.
Nope, you're going to know every time who
Okay,
picked
The
what.
surprise was
That's
that
cool.
you were surprised by being surprised.
All right. Well, our very first matchup pits the Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was a Julian pick, against Tony Hawk 1 and 2 Remake, which was a pick by... we also had guests for each of these because 7 is not... Well, it's a great number for our show, but we wanted to do something a little more normal and try and have 8 entries. So for each of these individual brackets, we had a friend, someone who'd been on the show before, someone who interacts with us, come up with something as well. So this one is from a friend of the pod, Zach Jerem, Tony Hawk 1 and 2 Remake.
He also has his own podcast, the Windy City Benders podcast. It's a hockey one. Bill on our social media and him seem to interact almost every day, it seems like.
That's Zach Jerem? Oh my gosh. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
I just like making friends.
Well, you made a friend. You guys are going back and forth almost every day.
The best part is we like never talked to each other in high school. Except
No,
for that
it's-
one class we had.
Yeah.
It's
He's a
gonna
good
be
guy.
Three of us,
the
cinema
podcast
studies.
cinematic universe, But,
Yeah. Ooh.
So, Julian, Tell us about Final Fantasy VII Remake. Although I think Dave also has played it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have bought it and not played it.
I mean, it's a good game. I do like the fact that you can I like leveling up like weapons and stuff like that. I think that that's really cool. I think that the animation's great. The only drawback I would give to it is just all the cutscenes. It kind of feels like it's a movie at some points, but other than that, it feels really good to play. I genuinely like the Final Fantasy series. I really like Final Fantasy VII, so that's why I chose this one.
For me, I never actually. I only got very shortly in. Like I've barely touched it just because other things came up and I keep meaning to go back, but haven't. I've kind of gotten spoiled on the story, and I've heard it really deviates in a way that you're either gonna like or hate. With the original, like it's not. From what I understand, remake is not the correct term to use once you finish this game, which I think is fine. But yeah, it was fun to play. Like Tifa fucking kicks ass. She's awesome.
Shit out of everybody. It's great.
Anytime I can just switch over to play as Tifa, I'm doing that instantly because she's fucking awesome. Punches the shit out of people.
And that's the game.
I bought Final Fantasy VII on Black Friday for like $15. I thought, why not? But it's so far down my lineup that I'll get to it eventually. That's all I got. But man, Tony Hawk 1 and 2, I did play right when it came out, and it's fucking great.
Does it have the same soundtrack as the older Tony Hawks, or a similar soundtrack?
It's the same as 1 and 2, so it's 1 and 2 combined. And it's
I think aren't there like a few things that they couldn't get, or did they get them all?
I'm not entirely sure, but it sure seems like there's a lot of music in that game, and it's all so
I know they got
good.
like the hits, like the ones you're expecting are in there, from what I know.
I mean, I think all those ska bands need a lot of money, so like, they probably were pretty happy about.
Yeah, like we're back,
Getting
baby. We're back in business, baby.
Man, I love it. It's so fucking good. Dave knows he would come over to watch anime, and I just talk about like, yeah, I played Tony Hawk today, and it was fucking great.
Okay, if that's all you said, then that's why I don't remember. If it was just that one line that you said every time.
Not exactly, but I kept saying like how good it was.
I remember
He would wake up in like 3 a.m. and text you.
Yo, what's up, Tony
You'd, like,
Hawk
see a
1 and 2?
text, and you'd be
So
like, "What's going
fucking
on?"
good.
See the
Just go
text
back
and then
to sleep.
delete it.
Yeah.
But I don't see it.
Andy.
I mean, I'm probably showing my hand. One of these games is sitting in my house unplayed. The other one I've played a lot, so I'm gonna vote for Tony Hawk.
Well, I want some more discussion.
Go on, keep discussing. I just
like,
threw my vote in.
Fun
Ask
fact.
some questions.
I've
Fun
played
fact.
both of these games, but not the remakes. Like, what does the remake do different?
It's a completely different combat style. Instead of entirely turn-based, you still like select your attack, but you're moving in a 3D space and
Oh, so
controlling
they
just
really
one character at a
changed
time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
it's
Tony Hawk,
completely
right?
different
Like,
combat.
that was Tony Hawk that you're talking about.
Yeah, that's Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk this time is not a turn-based RPG.
I think that was a really good difference that they made this go around. I would play a Tony Hawk size, like a
Turn-based RPG.
Turn-based.
Skateboarding.
So like the remake, you should also know is not a full remake of the game because it's just the from what I understand, it's just the sequence from the start up to when you leave. Oh crap! What's the Midgar? Is that the name of the first starting area?
It's in parts, and
Yeah.
I think the second part's supposed to be coming out sometime. But
That's
If
interesting.
it takes as long as this one, it won't be until like 2025.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
So they padded it out and added more content to the game, and then reworked some sequences. Like I heard the Queen Bee or whatever, Honey Bee Inn or something. They kind of made it a little less problematic, which is good. And as I said, I think from what I understand, near the end, this is not even a remake anymore. This is like its own thing.
That's interesting.
Meanwhile, Tony Hawk 1 and 2 is pretty much a straight remake, but everything's tighter. Everything feels good.
Ooh, tighter. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, tighter.
The big shock of this remake is it was actually good, unlike the last two efforts.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk 5 was dumpster fire, and the other remake that came out on the 360 was also trash.
Yeah. So this is good. They they figured it out. Look, if you liked Tony Hawk games when you were young, this is just better version of that.
What's up with the tutorial in Tony Hawk? I've heard people say it's the hardest video game tutorial.
I don't even remember doing it.
Okay. Something about the tutorial I've seen people say is like the hardest video game tutorial. I don't know if they're joking or if they're serious.
I swear I don't remember the tutorial. I also played the game pretty nonstop for like a month and haven't played since, just because I bought a few games. I'm like, oh, I should probably play these instead of continuously going back to Tony Hawk. But now I'm craving to play Tony Hawk since it's been mentioned. So I might be doing that this weekend.
Yeah. I've actually never played any Final Fantasy game before at all. And the only skateboarding game was the Simpsons skateboarding back in like 2002. So.
You fool.
When will they
You've also played the skate demo where you're a Jedi and you grab the skateboard from Force Grab It.
Yeah, so I've only had like two exposures to skateboarding based games, and Final Fantasy. Shit, I got nothing on that. I got nothing.
It's voting time. Unless Tom,
I'm gonna vote Final Fantasy because Tifa rocks. So
I'm also gonna go Final Fantasy because it was fun.
I'm gonna go Final Fantasy, and just because I think it's interesting. I mean, I love Tony Hawk, the original, but since they're both remakes, I think it's more interesting that Final Fantasy is doing like a totally different sort of thing, where it's updating everything. It's not just like it sounds
here's
like
the
they're
same
adding
mechanics
stuff, and it's going to change the story almost. That's interesting to me.
Quick thing, is Jack Black in Final Fantasy though?
Yes.
Probably somewhere.
He's the main. Like, all Final Fantasy villains at the end are like angels, and it's probably Jack Black.
Yeah, it's probably just Jack Black in disguise.
Hey, you know what? Tony Hawk, they made it look nice. They played it safe. I like comfort. Don't change. Tony Hawk.
Yeah. We got Jarek and Tom still.
I'm gonna go with. I've never played any of the Final Fantasy games actually, so I gotta go with Tony Hawk.
Oh, wow, okay. Pressure on already. I've also never played any of the Final Fantasies, and my experience with skateboarding games is the Tony Hawk game for Game Boy Color, which was awesome, by the way. I love that game. Fantastic. But Bill, I really like your idea of changing up the game mechanics and making a little twist on an old classic. So I'm going to go with Final Fantasy.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I really think that's the fair choice.
I
think Bill brought up a great point.
I don't. This one for me is like, yeah, sure, yeah, keep it going.
All right, Final Fantasy moves on. Our next matchup is Hades, which was a Dominic choice, against Andy's Doom Eternal.
Doom's back, baby. Gets to talk more Doom.
Yeah, I mean, both hell-based games. Ooh, I like.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if I want to reveal something here. But Dom's original pick was Doom Eternal.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, Doom Eternal.
Boo, Dom. Boo.
Doom Eternal is fantastic. It is.
The Doom thickens.
Look,
I think it is a worse version of Doom 2016, and it has a way worse soundtrack. Way worse soundtrack. Way worse.
I disagree with it being a worse Doom 2016. That is a bad take.
It took the cool mechanic of combat flow from 2016 and ruined it by adding 3 more things that you have to juggle the entire time, and it stops being fun.
I did not get that feeling
better game
at all. I had a blast from start to finish.
I think I enjoyed it more than 2016. I feel. I mean,
let's talk about Hades.
I'd love to, because I've heard this is really good, and I kind of want to play it.
So Hades, it's what we call a roguelike game. You're like the son of Hades. It basically you advance in levels, you get stuff, you die, you start over, but you're a little better. You keep dying, you get better, die, get better.
My problem with that is there's so many
hold on.
roguelikes.
There's
now,
more.
though.
There's more to it though than that. There's
There's way more to it. So the great thing with Hades is all roguelikes are kind of like, okay, you learn the game, you get better. But the thing Hades does that's so phenomenal is that you don't really see your progression happening until like 10 hours later when you've been playing it a bunch and you suddenly realize like, oh, I'm flying through all these earlier sections of the game that I used to struggle on, and all of a sudden now this is like a cakewalk. Like now I know all these enemy patterns, I know how they attack, I know how these weapons work, and you just suddenly realize how much you've improved over your time spent with the game. The other great thing with this game is it's got a very good story that manages to take the Greek mythology and kind of tweak it to a more modern taste and kind of provide it feels like fan fiction, but extremely good fan fiction. Like fan fiction of someone that knew the source material and loved it to a degree that they knew, hey, this is what we should do as like a, hey, here are these characters later. Like Medusa is just a floating head now because Medusa's head got chopped off at some point. And it does a great job of referencing things you've done. So if you get up to a boss fight and lose, the next time you fight that boss, they start to mock you for having lost to them last time. Or if you beat them, they'll be a little salty about how you beat them last time.
That's cool.
And so on and so forth. And it just does a great job of introducing new mechanics.
But the progression thing is kind of the same with Doom, where you encounter a demon that's a nightmare to fight, but as you see them more and more often as you start also leveling up your guns and your abilities. So there's a progression to that as well, where what was once like, oh shit, is now, well, there's 10 of them and it's whatever, I'm fighting them. It's fine.
That's a little different though, because they do adjust the health values of those so that they're not as bad as when you first encountered them. And but
either way though, I think what Doom is a game that, like, all right, so all first person shooters now feel like hiding behind chest high walls with regenerating health. I mean, that's pretty much what I feel like when I'm playing a game like Gears or Halo or Call of Duty. Whereas Doom feels like it's harkening back to what first person shooters were in the 90s, but modernizing it. There's no regenerating health. You have to find health packs. It's constant movement, constant action. And that's just fun. And where Hades has this good story, Doom is like anti-story. There's a story going on that you could follow if you want, but he's not really part of it. A little more in this one than in 2016, but there's still
Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
Sorry, but Doom Eternal like ruins what was good about Doom 2016 story. 2016 story was so stupid that it was fun.
I thought this
but Doom Eternal,
the same.
Doom Eternal took it all super serious and included like all these shitty references and jokes that just didn't need to exist.
I disagree entirely. I think it's in the same vein as 2016.
Like they throw in some fucking shitty SJW jokes early on at Doom Eternal because they're like, oh, let's take this serious and make some jokes here and there about how cool our setting is now. Whereas in the first one, it was like, yeah, this evil corporation dude wants you to go and steal some hell artifact. And the Doom guy's just not having any of it, and he just kills everything. Like they just don't do the same thing anymore. I
disagree, but that's fine. I think we see this game differently.
Oh yeah.
I like game go shoot and run.
That's pretty much what Doom is. It's move fast, kill demons, have fun. It is the definition of this is a game to have fun.
Isn't it called Move Fast, Kill Demons, Have Fun? I'd play that game.
Well, you're making a mistake by not playing this game.
Probably.
Andy, I noticed you never said anything when someone brought up that the soundtrack wasn't as good as the Doom game that last came out a few years ago.
I mean, it might not be as good.
I mean, to be fair, it's...
I know.
To be fair, I think the original Doom is still the best soundtrack. So there you go. I fought that in one episode already.
Originally, Randy Newman was gonna be the music behind Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal, running around.
Doom's so good. Even Doom 3, the one everyone hates, I like. Every Doom is good Doom. Play Doom. It's fun. maybe skip Doom 3 if you have your reservations.
Cool. Do we want to start voting?
Sure.
I mean, I'm voting.
I'll also say the combat in Hades is phenomenal. I'm gonna obviously be voting Hades here.
I think the combat in Doom is fun. It's just plain fun.
I still haven't beat Hades yet. I played like 15 hours in, but I enjoy it. It's a fun game.
You got to Hades.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with for sake of argument, I'm like, I gotta go with Hades for this one. So
even though you wanted Doom Eternal, I thought you were gonna flip.
You don't have to vote for your choice.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you know what? I mean, they're both good. They're both. I thoroughly enjoy both. It's hard, It's
To be fair, I do want to play Hades.
So good.
I'm gonna add on to Hades as well.
Oh wow!
I just feel there's too many roguelikes, though. That's the problem. It's the new
name another one that came out this year.
Enter the Gungeon 2.
Nope.
Didn't come out this
year?
No.
Nope.
That was a straight no.
That's not a roguelike either.
I thought it was.
I don't know. Animal Crossing.
Doom Eternal.
Sure. Okay.
I don't know. I don't really like either of these kinds of games. I will say, when I was looking for my own pick, Hades was the one that sounded most interesting to me, and I think I'm going to vote for it just because of the Greek mythology aspect is kind of interesting. But I'll probably never play either of these games.
Poseidon's a bro.
My vote as well.
What? What'd you say, Tom?
That's going to be my vote as well for the same reason.
Julian?
I've never played Hades. It does look interesting, but I would have way more fun with Doom, honestly, so I'm going Doom.
Y'all made a mistake. Dave over here hijacked it and made sure Hades went on.
Yeah. It's the better game.
Not. Well, I don't know that for sure, but I can tell you, Assassin Doom, a very good game.
I just don't think this Doom is that good.
Oh, so wrong.
All right, Doom moves on, or Hades moves on. Sorry, I read Dom as Doom. My mistake.
Fair enough,
Next matchup is Bill's pick Among Us versus Dave's pick Hunt Showdown.
What is Hunt Showdown?
All right. So I know Among Us didn't come out this year. That's not really. This is the biggest game of the year. It doesn't have to have come out this year, in my opinion. I would say on this list, none of them have made as big of a cultural impact as Among Us. It might not be the game
Animal Crossing
that I disagree entirely.
No, Among Us for sure.
It's Among Us. There's going to be I 100% guarantee there will be an Among Us movie or like Netflix series within 5 years. I'm not kidding.
Please no.
Every single kid loves Among Us. I've seen masks with the Among Us character. I've seen hoodies that say "sus" with like the little character. It's
it
huge.
It brought sus back into the lingo.
Yeah, they replaced tag with playing Among Us at school. I've never seen a game have such a big cultural thing since like Fortnite, to be honest. It might not be my favorite game to play, but I don't think you can deny that it's the game of the year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Bill, you're too cool to play with us. Every time
I've played with you
once, but
I've vented a few times in my day. I've been sus.
I also agree with Bill in that it should be on this list this year, regardless. Even if we were saying games that came out this year, it might as well have come out this year because people never heard about this for 2 years until it went free to play.
To be fair, I've been saying since 2018, but no one listened. Like, hey, you hear about this game called Among Us? Like, get the fuck up, Dom. Like, okay.
That game doesn't exist. Come back in 2 years.
So those are my thoughts. Take the floor.
Yeah, so Hunt Showdown, I'm sure nobody on here has ever heard of.
Sorry.
Yeah, it is. Listen, I'm not expecting it to win because I think Bill makes a fantastic argument for Among Us, but Hunt Showdown is sort of it's a battle royale, except a smaller scale. Like, you're not fighting 99 other people. You're fighting, like, I think it's about 14 at the max. But it is primarily it's two different maps, but it's set in 1895 in a Louisiana bayou.
Wow.
And it is a group of hunters. So the game is actually player versus player, but also player versus just AI enemies. So throughout the map, there's like a bunch of zombie creatures. They're also like creatures like there's a person called a hive who has a bunch of bees that when they get alerted to where you're at, they send a swarm of bees to go attack you. There's like weird husk zombies that are covered in barbed wire, so you can't like melee them. There's like a fire demon thing that when you shoot erupts into flame, and then causing an explosion, but you can melee safely. But the ultimate goal is you get on this map, and there's two big giant monsters on the map that you have to find the location of, kill, take their like a bounty from that monster, and then escape alive while all the other players are doing the same exact thing. And then once you get the bounty, they're trying to hunt you down to steal a bounty from you before you can safely escape. So you'll fight something like a spider that actually crawls across the walls and the ceiling. So it's really hard to track them because they'll literally climb up onto the ceiling and then go up above the floor above through like a little gap that they can get through. Or there's like a giant butcher dude who chases you down with a meat cleaver, or a guy that turns into a swarm of flies, reappears, and then starts to stab you. The other twist to this gameplay element is that it's also permadeath. So when you bring a character in, you're not only like every character has perks. So like, oh, this character makes like quiet noises when they're sneaking around. This character can find more ammo. This character has a better time at like finding clues or something like that. And then you also bring in your equipment. So you're bringing in like, oh, this really kitted out sniper rifle, these med kits and all that. If you die, if you die and you don't escape, that character's gone. You do not get them back. You lose all the equipment that's on them. It's gone. So there's this risk reward of getting in here, trying to fight these other players, trying to maybe just fight the monster while they're hunting you. And this need of like, hey, do we just back out? Is it getting too hot? Do we just survive with what we have, get small progress, or are we going to push to get more of a reward? It's phenomenal.
I mean, I will say of all the games so far, that sounds like the one I most would want to play.
It's really cool.
Sounds like the most
It sounds really cool.
One other thing.
Sounds really interesting.
The game is very big on sound too. It has like the best spatial sound I've heard from a game outside of a VR game. And so you can actually really play this game stealth. Like if you see a bunch of people fighting if you hear a bunch of people shooting off far in the distance, you can perfectly tell where they're shooting from and what guns they're using. And so what is actually a good strategy is to sneak up on them, slowly approach, and then sneak into their building and try to be silent until you're just about to kill them. And you can like put down traps and alerts, and it's such a well fleshed out game that more people need to know about. It's so good.
I'm glad you brought it to the world's attention through our platform.
To our 3 viewers.
You hear that, Roy?
Yeah. Personally, I just think Game of the Year, I can't really just deny the cultural impact of...
Yeah.
I've been called sus maybe over 10,000 times since I've been working this year. It's getting old, but
I will say,
not to them.
Among Us, I've met a lot of people just playing Among Us.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's big with our age group.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
the younger kids, it's insane.
Tom, Julian, and Dave have played with us, and they've seen like just random people from random groups have come in and joined us.
It rakes in so much like money on YouTube and so many viewers on Twitch. Yeah. I mean, fucking AOC was playing Among Us.
I forgot to bring that up.
Like,
hang on.
I forgot they let communists on Twitch now, so it's crazy.
Hi, Meredith.
Bye, Meredith.
Hello. He's gonna take little cornflower for a walk.
Baby can walk?
Yes.
Baby can walk. Look at that. 2020, baby.
No, like in a stroller. I'm sorry, what were we saying?
You know what? I think I do like the Hey Dave, is that game on the Xbox or just?
Yeah,
like,
what is it
PC?
on?
Yeah,
I
played on Steam, but I'm pretty sure it came out on the consoles. Let me double check.
If it's on Switch, I kind of want to try it.
Among Us
on
is now on
Xbox.
Switch.
It's on Xbox One and PlayStation 4.
I mean, I have a PlayStation 4. I could get it.
It's great. It's so fun.
I probably will actually try it out. However, I am gonna vote for Among Us. I've had too many fun experiences over the last month and a half just playing it. With people,
I gotta vote for it.
That was actually my first pick.
Yeah, that was Tom's first pick. I also forgot to mention that.
I like Hunt way more, but Among Us is the actual answer. So.
Julian, Dom, and Jarek.
I like Among Us when it's one of those hit or miss games where you get in those moods to play it. You're like, yeah, and then after
another person who doesn't join us.
Yeah, I'm saying while you're taking a shit, you play a quick game, and then when you're not the imposter, or when people are not the imposter, 2 or 3 people just quit, then and.
That's the thing. You're playing public lobbies. That's your problem. You got to join a group of people. Otherwise, I won't play a public lobby.
Use a public lobby, and then you use broken English. Then
or you join our game and use broken English.
But I guess just for this one, we'll have, Among Us. But even though the other Hunt game sounds actually pretty fun.
Yeah, I'll also vote for Among Us.
I really want to go with Hunt Showdown. That just looks like a lot of fun. I want to try it.
It's good.
I want to try it too. It sounds fun.
It's 1 to 3 players on each team also. So
I gotta say, 2 of the 3 games I haven't played on this list, I probably will play within the next week.
Nice. All right, Among Us moves on, which takes us to our final entry in our Game of the Year bracket. It's my Animal Crossing New Horizons pick against Tom's Fall Guys pick. Tom, you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
Go for it. We'll go with the order that it's in.
Sounds good. So Animal Crossing came out March 20th, 2020, before the pandemic was really, really, really fucking awful. And there was a period of time right there in which everybody was happy. We'd all been waiting for Animal Crossing for years and years, and we thought that we'd be able to spend all the time in the pandemic at home, not going out, by playing Animal Crossing and putting in hundreds and hundreds of hours. It's 9 months later. People are still in Animal Crossing, putting in hundreds and hundreds of hours as the pandemic goes on farther and farther. My aunt has played it for 1,300 hours so far.
Jesus.
Yes, that's insane. I don't know how.
How is her town? I mean, I gotta see a town because, is it good?
It's in shambles. It's like, what have you been doing?
I haven't checked it in months. But Animal Crossing for me is a game that I had never played before New Horizons. I had a GameCube, but I never played it. I never had a DS or any of the handheld consoles that it came out for. But Jordan turned this on to me after she was playing it for a bit, and then obviously we could both share the island and fish together and make the island better. But I just think it's a great game for community. It's easy enough and simple to pick up for people who aren't exactly gamers. And even, I put maybe, 60, 70 hours into it before moving on to other things. And even just doing the simplest tasks make you feel worthwhile. Just getting fish, going to the museum, working on getting all your bugs, your fish, your house looking better, getting the extra levels on it. Simple, mundane tasks, but you're just able to go back to it time and time again. And that's, I guess, my little opening argument.
Oh, Tom?
Okay, so this game came out later in the year. It didn't come out, if I recall correctly, as early on as Animal Crossing did, and this wasn't my first choice, but this is the only one I could probably actually give a argument for. But it had arguably had a fall as quick as it did have a rise. It was super popular from like August, I want to say, to September. And it's a battle royale where you play as these little blobby looking characters, and you do these different little mini games, and a certain amount of people go on each round that qualify, and then eventually in the last round the last person standing or the first person to complete this task is the winner. It was super big. Everyone loved it, and they were like, "Oh, we're introducing new games, new mini games to add into these games," and then it just got overtaken by Among Us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I guess I'm guessing the aspect that you can play with more people together and accuse people and stuff like that and gave it its popularity. But it was pretty fun. I played a few rounds of it. I tried it out. I liked it. I mean, battle royales aren't my forte by any stretch of the imagination, but I threw this one on there because, again, it had a little bit of a splash for a while, and then it kind of faded away. And I'm just surprised, with how simple Among Us is, how much it's maintained, as opposed to this that had arguably a bigger budget, better look to it, very graphically pleasing and stuff like that. So it's just amazing to me. But comparatively to Animal Crossing, I would argue that, I hate to say it, but Animal Crossing is a better game overall, I would have to say.
I gotta say, these are two games that when they came out, I played a ton, and then I stopped.
Yeah.
And the only thing keeping me from Animal Crossing going back to it is like, oh god, the work I'm gonna have to put in fixing everything.
Yeah.
I will say I've watched, I haven't played Fall Guys, but it looks like a game I would really like. And I kind of
cool.
I feel like, Bill, if you were a video game character, you would be a Fall Guy. So
yeah.
Hey, Andy, can you please show off the? I just put it in Discord. The official skeleton of a Fall Guy.
Oh no!
Yes.
The official skeleton of a Fall Guy.
So spoilers for later in the week, when we do the tweets. This tweet was actually going to be my tweet at one point for dumbest tweet.
It's the official skeleton of a Fall Guy.
It's cute. I like to think that humans evolved into Fall Guys. This is the game
I played
takes place in the year 3000 or something.
I played an hour and a half of Fall Guys and won, I think, 2 games, and then kind of never went back to it. Kind of never went back to it. For me, it was very cool, but then it kind of it got too samey very quickly for me. Once I kind of
I love the idea. It's basic in my head. It's kind of like Battle Royale Mario Party, but you're a doofy.
Yeah, the Battle Royale, but a platformer. That's such a cool concept.
It is. It's a great concept, and I wish
Fall Guys though
it was bigger.
Dave's right though. If you play it alone, it's not as fun. It's too samey. You need a group of friends, and you're all playing it and laughing through it. Kind of like
even with a group though. You're not really. You're still playing against them until you get to a team round. So to me, it never really made sense why you even grouped with people. It definitely made it more fun, but it never felt like you were really playing with them outside of the team games.
I mean, that's like Mario Party though.
Personally, my vote is for Animal Crossing.
I will say.
Sorry.
I'll say for me I
won 9 points.
Nice. For Animal Crossing, the start, the first 2, the first 2 months, it was pandemic, it was comforting, you literally wake up, hey, I'm gonna go check the island. And I think it was around mid-May is when kind of that Animal Crossing fatigue. You put 100 hours in, you're like, okay, But then the one time they got my complete rush was, I think it was Roy. His bells were selling for five. Was it his the turnips were selling for the turnips were selling for the bell for 600. Was it bells, whatever? Then and I was at work, and it was 8:50, and I had my Switch with me at work. I remember I was driving home. Well, my Switch on my steering wheel, going to my Animal Crossing house, getting the turnip, placing them by the island, and then getting to my house or my apartment at 9:45, logging on and everything, and just making it in the nick of time. And then I made 20 million bells, and then I was like, now what?
Yeah.
But How many people died playing Animal Crossing? I want to know.
It was a good rush. I get it now. I get why drugs are a thing, because it was a good rush. I was like, oh. But,
so is that Animal Crossing for your vote?
Yes.
I fell off of Animal Crossing kind of quick this time, but I think that mostly is just due to this is the 4th one I've played, and it's the best one for sure. But it's I've done this already 3 other times, so it ran a little thin quicker for me just because of that. I also just want to shout out that this is the first Animal Crossing where you can play a black character, because before you were stuck with the same skin tone. So they got a big feedback on the third one, and they're like, okay, hey, like, let's fix this. Because before, what you had to do is you had to go to the island every single day and stand on the island just so you can get a tan. That was the only way you could be not white in the old games. So they made that improvement. And they don't make any differentiation between gender in this game. It's just a style you pick. You can wear whatever the fuck you want. So they made some good improvements with this version beyond just gameplay improvements. So my vote's also for Animal Crossing, anyways.
I'm just gonna vote for Animal Crossing as well. Make it easy.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, throw me on there.
Oh,
Julia.
Of course.
Sweet.
Animal Crossing.
Sorry, Fall Guy.
Dave sold me with that.
I mean, you should have been sold
He sold
before
me
that.
with
That's just icing on the cake.
Yeah. I think you could maybe on the mobile version choose stuff like different skin tones, but this is the first mainline Animal Crossing, and the mobile game sucked, so who cares?
Right, so like, can you do different haircuts? Could you do like a high top fade? Can you do that?
I'm not sure. I've heard there are good black hairstyles in this
cornrows.
game, but I've not.
Dreads.
Like I don't know. I can't speak on that.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember.
neither do I. Moving on to our first Final Four semifinal matchup: Final Fantasy VII Remake against Hades again.
I mean, I think this is an easy choice for me. These are two games I haven't played. I own one of them, and I haven't played it yet, and I'm more interested in playing Hades. So,
Oh.
My vote's also for Hades.
Yes.
Ooh, I think my vote's for Final Fantasy VII.
Well, Final Fantasy, man. 2 for Final Fantasy. Look at that.
I love Final Fantasy VII. It's a great game, and I'm
It's a really great
excited to
game.
play a remake of it. Eventually. Maybe when I'm 50.
I haven't played
I'm
either
for
of these,
Hades.
and you're going with Hades. Tom's going with Hades. Okay, I was going to go with Hades as well. But both of these are things that I'd like to try out sometime.
I'll eventually get to Final Fantasy VII, but I think Hades is just gonna jump it. I think I'm gonna play it first.
Gotcha. All right, and then on the bottom of the bracket, Among Us against Animal Crossing, and I'm just going to switch my vote now to Among Us. I
Oh, wow.
don't.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah,
No
I don't think it
question.
really stands a chance.
Oh, wow, I'm
If I'm
actually
picking my favorite game of this year, it's Animal Crossing, but Among Us is the game of the year for me. So
I
Yeah,
think
That's kind of. It's hard to. Like, I liked Animal Crossing, but I only played it for about a week. I don't really care about Among Us as an actual game. Like, I like playing with you guys sometimes. I got really drunk once and played it with a few college friends, and that was fun. I just kept calling people cucks for some reason, which was very rude.
you let your inner right winger,
Yeah,
fly
I was getting really like weird.
aggressive.
And it was a fun time. It was the most fun I had playing a video game in 2020 easily. So, I mean, I got to go with Among Us. I think it just the cultural impact.
Mhm.
Whether or not it's a good game, I don't know. But culturally, it's huge.
It's a game that also depends on who you play it with. So.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Animal Crossing. I think
I was
it gave me that rush. Gave me that rush.
I do like that Joe Biden had an Animal Crossing island.
Yeah, until they shut it down and said you can't do political stuff with it anymore.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were not happy with Joe Biden,
Wow.
so they shut that down. Yeah.
I think
That's
just I mean, I've played Among Us with multiple people here, and I play it with different groups. I think I'm going to be playing it with Kelly and her friends at some point this weekend. Like, just I've met new people that are really cool. Like, there's just so much good fun with Among Us. I don't know. I'm going to vote for it, even though, again, I think the better game is Animal Crossing, but I think there's just too much outside of the game benefits to Among Us.
Yeah, without a doubt. If I can get a game for Tim to play, that's
Yeah, we
unheard
played with
of.
Tim once too. Take that as a vote for the Among Us. I think Julian is the only one I haven't heard from.
Oh, I'm going Among Us.
Yeah, Julian's played with us
Yo-
when his internet
No.
doesn't collapse.
Y'all
That
sus.
sucked.
LOL.
All right, finals are here. It's Among Us versus Hades. Dom, good luck.
You know, I think shit.
Are you gonna like?
I think
You're gonna
you
want
know-
to change your.
No, I mean, I think
biggest
no, I
mistake?
enjoyed Hades, and I think I way more fun playing. I mean, I get I played Among Us with my brothers, a lot of people, solo. Like I get it,
Not us.
I enjoy it, but I think Hades, I just it. You feel when you get further, it feels that sense of progression. It feels good. It's nice. The story's nice. The atmosphere is nice. Graphics are nice. Gameplay's nice.
But
So
I
it's
get
good.
that same rush when I
Music's
complete
nice.
those basic tasks.
Yeah.
Look, here's what I would say. Any other year that wasn't a pandemic, would Among Us do this well? Probably not. But I'm a very extroverted person who likes to throw parties.
But
Can't
it's
do
20,
that.
It's the game of 2020.
Yeah, I can't
No,
do
no,
that.
don't say you can't. You won't because of JB Pritzner. Don't be beyond.
So I can't.
From what I understand, actually, that brings up a point with Among Us. From what I understand, before this year, and part of why it may be picked up this year, is Among Us you could only play locally before this year. It didn't have the online. From what I understand, I could be wrong, but from what I had heard, you could only play this with people in the same location as you before this year, and that the pandemic is part of why it has the online mode and why it picked up. That's what I've heard. I don't know how factual that is, but
I mean,
Well, that's true. They made the right choice.
yeah.
Thanks, COVID.
I mean, I'm gonna go with Among Us just because it really did help get through the year as an extrovert, being able to just meet new people, play the game with all my friends, different groups of friends at different times. I don't know. It's been awesome.
I am obviously going Among Us, so
Yeah,
Even
I'm
though-
the same way. Same boat.
Yeah, I agree with the Among Us crowd as well.
Bill and Dave.
I already vote. Did I not vote for? I'm voting for Among Us. I want to win.
Yeah, I think since it's not going to win, I do think Among Us is the correct winner, but Hades is actually
sounds
the
good.
best game on this list. Like, if I did not pick Hunk Showdown because I wanted to show it off, I would have picked Hades. That's why I was glad Dom picked Hades. So I'll give a vote to Hades.
Yeah, by no means do I think Among Us is the best game of 2020.
Yeah.
I just
It's the most
It is
essential
the game.
game of 2020.
It is the game of 2020. Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, Tom wanted to pick it too, so this is just as much of his victory, almost as much as his victory as my victory. But
It was my second choice too.
Almost without being the keyword.
It was
What's
my
that?
It was my second choice too. So, I mean, I agree with it wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Among Us takes the cake as the game of 2020. 75% of that win goes to Bill and 25% goes to Tom. That seems pretty fair, right?
I think we're all winners here.
that sounded pretty sus, Andy. I'm just angling for a YouTube influencer kind of career now.
Didn't realize we have Markiplier with us.
Also, Among Us is like really infiltrated a lot of like sub communities on the internet. Like,
That's
there's a
probably
lot of
about to.
locations. No, like in a good way. Like there's a lot of there's a lot of communities out there that I've seen that have just memes related using Among Us or related Among Us
Yeah.
that are centralized to just that community.
Yeah, I will say it was just so crazy to see kids playing Among Us instead of Tag.
Instead of Tag.
Like, on the
Yeah, that's
playground.
wild.
So, okay, one last question, Bill. They were actually playing Among Us,
No,
not like on the
they were
computer,
playing
but
like a version of it.
Okay.
Like
they were chasing each
the
other.
teacher would say, "All right, you're the imposter," and then they would like play tag. It was a
Okay.
tag,
That's
but they
pretty cool.
kept it. But it's tag, but you get to shout, "You're an imposter." You're sus.
That's why I always go to the I go to the Springfield, outside of JB. I'm very anti JB today. I like JB, but today I'm very anti JB. You're the imposter. You're the imposter.
I think we're good to wrap this one up.
Yeah. Among Us Game of the Year from Bracket Up. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button, boys and girls. Let's get us into triple digits in 2021. Have a good rest of 2020, everybody.